guys, welcome back to my channel. I hope you guys are enjoying the rest of your Sunday. Today I'm going to do something a little different. Some of you guys may be confused reading the caption of this video, but I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about myself so you guys really know who I am, and just going to go through basically my life and everything that has led me up to where I am today. So let's just start from day one. I was born and raised here in California. My mom is originally, she used to live out in Orange County and with my grandma, and they moved down to the San Gabriel Valley. Lived out in Rosemead, and so I was born in Monterey Park at Garfield Medical Center. And I was born there. Mom lived in Rosemead with my grandma at the time. They had like a 4-bedroom house from what I remember. My whole family lived there. My uncles, my aunts, they all had a room. They all had their kids living in there. I went to school, elementary school, Savannah Elementary School, which is located in Rosemead. I went to school there up until 6th grade. I guess like growing up, I mean, it was just living in any typical Asian family. Parents were really strict. For those of you guys who are Asian or who did grow up in a very strict home, you guys are familiar with what I'm talking about. So parents were really strict, couldn't really do much. Even then I was only in elementary school, so shouldn't even be doing much at that age either way. But from what I remember, very strict. Parents were very strict. Mom was very strict. Dad was very strict. Mom was only strict because of Dad, so Dad played a big role with being very strict with the kids. But I am the oldest of 5, so I have a brother who just turned 21. His name is Brandon. And then I have, after Brandon, I had another brother. His name is Brian, and I believe he's actually turning 17 in November. And then I have a sister named Caitlin. She's gonna turn 15 in March. And then I have a younger brother. His name is Jaden, and he's gonna be turning, I think, 9. Yeah, he's turning 9 in February. So those are all my siblings. So I have Brandon, I have Brian, Caitlin, and Jaden, and there's myself. So there's 5 of us. So a very big family. My mom loved kids. Obviously, she had 5 of us. And so, you know, growing up, you know, we were a very, I guess, tight-knit family. We did move around a lot. I remember moving from apartment to apartment when I was younger. When I was in kindergarten, we lived in this apartment. I think it was in El Monte. Yeah, it was in El Monte off of Baldwin. Lived there for a couple years, and then we moved up to like a 2-bedroom apartment in that same complex, because that complex had like over 180 units. But lived there for a while. Then, as our family expanded, we moved permanently to El Monte, which is where I stayed there up until the age of 18. But from what I remember, living with my mom and dad at the time, it was really difficult living with them. I felt like I was different. I didn't know if it was just me, but I was treated very differently than the others. And so I thought like it was just me, like, you know, like any other teenager. I just thought that, you know, it was just me, like I'm just probably growing up and whatnot. But there was a lot of things that was happening in the home as I lived like my life with my father and my mother, and it was a very hostile environment. Dad was very abusive towards myself, towards my mom especially, but to the both of us for sure, very abusive. So alcohol was always involved. Never really liked holidays because I knew what was gonna happen after. Because dad would get drunk, um, would start a scene up with mom. Obviously, mom wants to protect her kids. They get into an argument. Hands would be thrown at each other. I would get in the middle. I would get hurt. And there were times where, I kid you not, I legit made a plan to leave because I couldn't deal with it anymore. It was really difficult living in that environment, but I kept my head up. I kept, thinking positively, told myself everything's gonna be okay. Those are the words that, until to this day, I always tell myself, no matter what, everything's going to be okay. So I stuck with those words, growing up. As I turned 8, 9, 10, all the way up to high school. The abuse started with my parents and myself. Started probably when I was maybe 5 years old, from what I remember. Dad loved to drink, and when he did, when there was alcohol in his system, he would be a different person. Now we all know, what alcohol can do. It enhances, a person, and some people get very abusive, other people get emotional. So he was an abusive drunk. And so when holidays came around, whether it was birthdays, Christmas, Thanksgiving, New Year's, or anytime we had a social gathering with our family members, there was always the aftermath of it. We would have a great time during the day, but as soon as people started leaving, and as soon as I looked at dad and see that he's getting tipsy and drunk, that's when I knew, I knew what was happening next. The people that I've told this story to, or the people who know about, my life and what I've been through, have always asked me, why didn't I ever, call the cops, or why didn't I ever seek help? It's not that easy. For those of you going through something like this, you guys know what I'm talking about. It's not simple to just pick up the phone and dial 911. I mean, it is simple, but when you're scared, when you're living in fear, when you're living in a world where you don't know what can happen next, it's very scary, especially for, an 8-year-old or a 9-year-old, 10-year-old, and even teenagers, even 12, 13, 14-year-olds. Something that kids, teenagers, even adults, something that you guys shouldn't go through. And so, living that life, I always thought positively. It didn't hit me until probably high school, where I was just fed up with it. School was my sanctuary. I was free there. I was able to be myself there. I was able to express myself. I trusted my teachers. I trusted my friends, those who were there for me, all throughout high school. And I think the high school years were one of the toughest years that I would say I lived. Because of that, because of the abuse that was going on in the household. And when me leaving the house, it's I just had a smile on my face, everything was fine. Because for me, the only reason why I did that, I think, is because I didn't want other people to feel bad for me. Because I know that in this world, there's a lot of crazy things happening. There's a lot of people going through worse things than I am. So I became, selfless, and I just thought, there are other people suffering way more than I am, so I shouldn't I shouldn't let that bother me. And because I just kept reminding myself that, things will get better, those are the words that just kept me going every day. But from what I remember, living those high school years, they were horrible. I hated it. I was never rebellious, I would say, but I did rebel against some certain things. I did, lie a lot when I was in high school, just because I knew that, if I asked Dad if I could do something, he would say no. So I'd lie about it because I wanted to do whatever I did, or whatever I wanted to do. Throughout high school, I wasn't able to do anything. The only thing I went to was prom. Couldn't go to football games. I probably went to 2 basketball games. I couldn't go to any of the extracurricular activities that happened in high school, such as dances, games, anything like that. Wasn't allowed to. Dad didn't let. Every time I asked Mom, Mom would tell me, like, go ask your dad too. Like, mom was okay with it, but dad wasn't. And so all he wanted us to do, not just me, but even with my younger siblings, all he wanted us to do basically was to go to school, come home, do homework, and call it a night. That's it. So he said you could have friends at school, but once you come home, there's no friends, like, none of that. I didn't even have a cell phone when I was in high school. Like, I didn't get a cell phone till, like, freshman year of college. But yeah, I didn't have a cell phone, couldn't do anything. And so, like, when you're in high school, back then, like, well, I should say back then because it was only like 7 years ago, but like in the 2000s, it was like 2006 to 2010, MySpace was very popular. So I created a MySpace. I would go on it on my PSP or my brother's PSP, just because, I wanted to socialize with friends, and I didn't have a phone, I couldn't text, so the only way to do it was Yahoo Messenger or was it MySpace. And I remember one day my mom found out I had MySpace, and it was just, everything was just like, it was chaos. Like, she got super mad that she found out that I had a MySpace and all that. And so I was really restricted. I couldn't be myself. And those were the years, the high school years, I was trying to figure out myself. So that was the year that, like, where I figured out that, like, I was gay. Like, I was, like, my sophomore year, where I was, like, understanding the whole LGBT community and understanding all that. And I remember the first person that I told my friend, I told one of the very first people that, I was gay, and that was, like, it was so, like, there was so much relief in me, like, when I told, my friend that I think I'm gay. And she supported me, like, right there and then. She didn't judge me, none of that. But she was the very first people that I came out to. Because I remember Dad telling me one day, we were driving, and he told me if he ever found out I was a lesbian, he would kill me. Now, for a sophomore in high school, that's pretty terrifying. Even an adult, even now, if my mom told me that if she found out I was a lesbian, she would kill me, that would terrify me. Like, absolutely. I think it would terrify anybody. Those words stuck with me, like, ever since that day that he told me that. And so I was really afraid to come out to him and to come out to my mom. So I never did. Like, during my high school years, I never came out to them. I came out to my friends. A whole bunch of my friends knew I was gay. And they were really supportive of that. And those were the people that really stuck by me when I needed them, because they had no idea what was going on at home. I didn't tell any of my friends in high school what was going on at home. Nobody knew about what had gone down at home up until freshman year of college. Now, moving from high school, graduating high school, going into college, I went to CSUN. So when I went to CSUN, it was really far for me to commute back and forth because I lived in El Monte at the time. And so I dormed. I dormed there my first year. And even when I dormed at CSUN, my parents still tried to control me from home, which is, you're like thinking, like, how? Well, it was simple for them. They would always call me, always made sure I was in my dorm. I would go to class, I would have to call them, always had to check in on them, call them after class, all this stuff. So even when I was in college, I was still very restricted. But of course, I did do things, without them knowing. I would tell them I'm going to bed, but really I was going to a party. Or, I'd tell them I'm going to bed, but really I was going to my friend's house or whatever. I would go out. And it wasn't until college where I couldn't deal with it. Couldn't deal with the abuse at home. I couldn't deal with, living a restricted life. I was 18 years old. So I met somebody at college, and her name is Rebecca. A lot of you guys may know her, but I did meet Rebecca, and I have to say she was the biggest blessing in my life. Like, coming into like college and breaking out of like that whole abusive relationship I had with like my parents at home, because she really opened my eyes, and she was there for me when I needed her, and I would talk to her about my problems. I was really afraid because I didn't know who this girl was at first, but we did meet in English class, and we became really good friends. We started dating and all that too. We dated for like 3 years, but it wasn't even like the whole thing about dating her. Like, it was just, she was there for me as a friend, like just from the beginning, because like she just listened to me, you know, like this total stranger who lived like 40 miles from me. I met her at the school, you know, like in this class, and we just became really good friends. She listened to me, she helped me, she pushed me to go to therapy. I was super afraid to go to therapy because I thought that if I ever said anything to my therapist, that they would go back home and take my mom, put her to jail, or take dad and put him to jail and all that stuff. Well, she really opened my eyes. I went to therapy. Therapy helped me a lot. Like, I loved going to therapy. Like, therapy was the one thing that really helped me through all the hardships that led up to going into college. But I was sick of it. Like, I was sick of living at home and all that. So one day I literally just picked up the phone. I told my mom I'm not coming home anymore, and that was it. It was really tough in the beginning because she would come to the school, she would try to find me, all this stuff. She eventually gave up, but I moved out like right when I turned 18, probably a couple months later. I moved out in like March. School started in August. I moved out in March, and I was grateful enough to have met Rebecca and have Rebecca's family open up their house to me and gave me like a roof over my head. And so I lived with them. I lived with them for 5 years, all throughout my CSUN career. Going to CSUN with my career there. Lived with her and her family. They've helped me out. They've made me become a better person. So I thank you guys. If you guys are watching this, I thank you for being there for me, for believing in me, for pushing me to be the person that I am today. Because without your help and without me wanting to do it and without opening my eyes, I wouldn't be the woman that I am today. Like, guaranteed. There were so many times during those years that I thought, you know, why should I be in this world? What was my purpose? Like, why am I here? I've thought about it several times, and I was really depressed, and I was just really depressed at the time. And even my therapist, you know, like they diagnosed me with depression. I was on antidepressants. I have anxiety, and it was just a really crucial time for me because of what has happened at home. All the, you know, anxiety that was brought up at home with the abuse and all that. It really affected me throughout my life, and without the help and support of the friends that were there for me, I wouldn't be here. And so I thank you guys for that. And along, you know, going to CSUN, I've met a lot of people. I've met a lot of friends. I've met Joanna, which is my best friend. I met a few great people like Kalina, Angelica, Alejandra. You guys are all very good friends of mine, and I hold you guys very close to my heart. Even though I don't talk to you guys every day, I often think about you guys because you guys were there for me when I needed you guys the most. And like I said, that is what has made me be who I became today. But fast forward CSUN. So I dated Rebecca for 3 years. Things didn't work out. Still live with her. I just recently moved out. About, I want to say, I moved out in February. So however months is that. Some people ask me, you know, how could you live with your ex and this and this and that. And it's simple. They were there for me. I look at them as family. Yeah, I have a history with Rebecca, but it didn't stop me from, you know, having this relationship with her dad, her mom, her sister, her grandma. because these were the people that opened up their house to me. They didn't even know who I was, and I was grateful enough for them to open this house up to me and for me to live there. But anyway, so fast forward that I moved out of the house when I was 18 and all that. Dad ended up going back into jail for something he did. So mom was out here alone, taking care of my brothers and sisters. And I would go back and visit often. But when dad came out, filed divorce with my mom. So this was like in 2015. So he filed divorce with my mom. And I remember the day or the morning that I received the phone call from her. She was bawling. She was crying. She had no idea, how to go about this. She's been wanting to leave him for a very long time. But the only reason why she stayed with him was because of the kids. And as dad was in jail, she did admit that she did date a guy. I don't blame her because she was locked down as well. She wasn't allowed to go out. She wasn't allowed to have any friends. And so when she saw the opportunity, he was locked up. She took that opportunity and she discovered herself. But in doing that, she did hurt her kids because she would leave them home. I would go take care of them. My older brother would take care of them. And so part of her does feel like regret because of doing that. But so dad filed divorce, mom's bawling, crying, doesn't know what to do. I'm at work. At the time I was working at Office Max. I was the closing manager. I couldn't call off. So the only person that could help her was Rebecca. And I know Rebecca would go help her, and so she was the first person I called. Told her, hey, can you please go with my mom? So they talk to the lawyers and whatnot, try to figure it out. That night she comes home, I'm heading back home. She calls me, Rebecca, and says, hey, can we meet up? We need to talk. I'm like, sure, she just met up with my mom. Maybe it had something to do with the lawyers and the divorce. And so we meet up at a Cold Stone, and she tells me, she's like, I'm going to tell you something, but you can't tell your mom. And I'm like, okay, well, what is it? This was when I was 23 years old. So she tells me that my dad isn't my dad. Now, mind you guys, all my life, I thought this guy was my dad. But deep down inside, in my gut, I had a feeling he wasn't. Because of the way he treated me, because of the way he would abuse me, and because of the way that he just talked to me. I saw the way he would look at me, and it just didn't feel right. He was there for me as a father. He did take care of me, he did take care of me. He put me through school. He did pay for a lot of the things that, growing up. But he wasn't my dad. He wasn't my biological father. And when I found out, living 23 years of your life and thinking that this guy is your dad and then finding out that he's not, I didn't know how to react to that. I was in shock. I was in complete shock. I was in absolutely complete shock. I had no idea what was going on. I had so many questions. So many questions for my mom. So many questions for just everybody because I was so confused. I had no idea what was going on. And so that night, I really didn't know what was going on. I didn't really bring it up to my mom until a couple weeks later. I finally asked who my real father is, and she told me how everything happened. She got pregnant with me at a very young age. My biological father didn't want to get a job, didn't want to help her out, and so the only thing that she could have done was to move in with my grandma and just figure things out on her own. And so she did that. So she left him, and he never came back to find me or find my mom. Up until 23, my mom was trying to find him on Facebook, and so she finally did. I did reach out to him. He reached out back to me. We talked to each other a couple of times. And the moment that we did talk to each other, it was really bittersweet because, I've always been the one that has always wanted a father and daughter relationship. And because I didn't have that with my stepdad, I always wanted it, and so I was always pushing for it. And so talking to him really kind of made me feel a little bit better. But I talked to him for a couple months, and he disappeared on me again. And this was February of last year. I haven't heard from him since. So I don't know where he's at. I know where he lives, or I know the city that he lives in, but I don't know. I've never met him, so I don't know who he really is. And with that, I mean, growing up, going through, living in a house with abuse, going through college, and then having to take care of your brothers and sisters, mom going through a divorce, finding out 23 years into my life that my father isn't my father. And I've been through a lot. And I know that some of you are saying, well, you know, there's other people that have gone through a lot worse. And it's true, they have. And for those people out there that are going through something that has broken you down, just remember that always think positive and always keep your head up. Because at the end of the day, everything will be okay. And just remember that you're living on this planet for a reason. God put you here for a reason. And I want everybody to know that. I want everybody to understand and know that they're here for a reason. There were plenty of times in my life, the 23 years of my life, that I thought to myself that I wanted to just disappear. Plenty of times. It's like plenty. But I've always had the support. I've always had the help. I've always had people there that believed in me. I've always had people that would tell me everything's gonna be okay. I would have people that check up on me every day. And so what the purpose of this video is I just wanna, it's just a word of mouth. It's just basically, I want people to know out there that I'm here for you. That if you ever need a friend, ever need somebody to listen to, I'm here. Because you're here for a reason and you belong here. If you don't belong here, then you wouldn't be here. And a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people who are going through things in life, a lot of people automatically just want to end their life. And it's sad because they feel alone. Because I can tell you that I felt alone before. And I'm not afraid to say it. Because it has made me a stronger person. And it has inspired me to inspire others to be strong. And so I just want everybody out there, again, to remember that if you guys ever need a friend, ever need somebody to listen to, I'm here for you guys. You guys can always DM me, shoot me a message through my Snapchat, my Instagram, my Twitter, comment below, like, reach out to me, because I'm here for you guys, and I want you guys to know that. So today, I'm going to close out this video. I do have a couple notification shoutouts I want to give out to. So one, of course, Rebecca, Desiree, Abstinent HR, the Frozians. You guys are amazing. Thank you so much for all that you guys have done. Really appreciate you guys. Also want to give a shout out to my best friends, Joanna, Gulliver. You guys are awesome. I miss you guys. We need to hang out soon. And also for my post notification shout out, I want to give a shout out to Angelica Barajas. I see you commenting in my videos, see you liking, so thanks girl for that, for showing the love. And I'm sorry if I bored you guys, but I just wanted to give you guys like a brief explanation of my life. I've been, going through a lot of shit these past couple months. And so I just wanted to let everybody know that, hey, like, I'm here for you, like, I'm going through shit too. I know people around the world are going through shit, and I just want to just let you guys know that, hey, like, I'm here for you. And yeah, don't be afraid to reach out to me. And always, guys, thanks for liking and sharing and subscribing. Thanks for all that. I really appreciate it. I promise next video will be a different mood, like it'll be happier, I promise. Just wait on it. But I'll see you guys soon. Peace.